Oh, hello there, Chick Chat. We are back with the season finale reunion special of Love is Blind that aired Wednesday. And yeah, I mean, it's basically a regular reunion, but I'm glad this one was indoors. It felt less enchanted forest to me than the
It
last
did.
reunion.
I
Yeah.
forgot about all of that outdoor shenanigans that they were doing before. You're totally right. This felt more like a set. I think they're back to being in the pods, right? I think this looks like where the reveals are. At least the
Yeah,
set
they I don't
is supposed to look like
I don't
that's
know if this is like one big stage in LA that has like the pod area that they just kind of leave and then they have
right.
this area for reunions or something. I'm guessing that's how it's set up because you see all these photos of old cast members in the pods reliving their youth.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I
even though,
fast
it's
forwarded through
just,
that stuff.
well, it's crazy. You see Joe and Jordan in the audience as each other's dates. And
Mm-hmm.
they were just on this stage. Like, how eerie, like just a couple months ago that yours, like
No.
how fast they air these things is
Yeah. No, they
quite,
do. I think
quite
they do two a
interesting.
year now. And it was
At
confirmed. I was
least.
watching an interview this morning with one of the cast members. I'm trying to think of who. Oh, Kevin. And he definitely confirmed that they were supposed to have 7 more months before this one came out, that they did, in fact, flip flop this season with the season that's coming out in September, whenever it drops in the fall. So I don't know why, but I have a feeling it means it's going to be a pretty bad season. And I'm worried that it's Detroit just because they're nearby.
Yeah, I have a feeling it is Detroit. But I remember when the casting was like May of 2024.
Yeah.
So that means that it's been like 2 years since they, at least
Which,
been to
yes.
Detroit by the time they air it.
And
So
typically it's well over a year by the time they air it.
yeah.
And for them, it has been a year like to the dot. A lot of these weddings happened around this time. And the casting or the filming and everything for this season happened around this time. So timing wise, it does make
Mhm.
sense. Although I just couldn't imagine for this next season having to literally wait 2 years. If you got married, none of them must have gotten married. They just must not be worried about those people at all.
I don't think so. I think that they couldn't have 2 seasons in a row where nobody got married.
Right,
So,
right.
and I
Which
think
is
that's
why they
also why
pulled the
they
flip flop
upped.
and they pulled in Vic and Christine, and they
Yep.
had to make something happen. No, I agree.
Yep. They did have this weird like intro where everybody walked in and they called their names. I don't remember them doing that in the past. I'm guessing that I remember them always just like starting out sitting on the couch, but this was like
No,
Alex's
they always
dream,
call them
coming
out
out
like
being
they always call them out like athletes. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
yeah.
They have at least for a while, at least since the outdoors that I forgot about.
Well, that was just last season.
Well, they
But
had yeah, and it was like windy. That was a terrible, terrible situation. But no, they've been
yeah,
calling them out to do their little introduction for quite a while. I was happy to
yeah.
see the cast members. Usually I'm not as happy to see them, and I definitely didn't need, AD and Giannino walking around with microphones and stuff. But I was what I did notice was I liked to see the reactions of the past cast members. I would
Mhm.
much rather see, Jordan laugh at somebody or, have his jaw on the floor at something someone said than some random stranger.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I think some of them overreacted on moments just to get their
Yeah,
face on there.
screen
I
time.
mean, Marshall created a movement with his reactions because ever since it's like people are overreacting to things. Like people were crying in the audience. They don't even know these people and they're crying for Amber. Oh,
Calling
who
out
was it? Oh
Bliss
my
for
gosh.
immediate bliss.
Bliss did, but Chelsea was like
Oh, those were fake. Yeah, that wasn't a whole scene.
with her mouth wide open. I was like, oh my God. Like just to get a little close, like a 3-second shot of you going like,
Yeah.
it's just okay.
That's so
So,
true.
yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that the cast members weren't as big of a thing this season as they have been in the last seasons. I mean, they had a
Yeah.
whole special for AD getting engaged and whatever. And I'm like, is she like the royalty of this thing? Like, she's always so included. And I
Yeah,
like
and
her, but
where was Ollie? I didn't see Ollie, her husband,
he's
here at all.
backstage, I think, with the child or something, because
I
someone was
hope
with
so.
that child. I
There's
don't know.
been some rumors circulating about that relationship. I hope he better be back there.
Well, they're married, I guess. So
Yeah, it
we
was
will.
just interesting to me that how much they feature AD that they didn't even be like, and Ollie's here he is with the bait. Like they didn't do any of that
Yeah,
with him.
I know.
And Ollie was on Love is Blind, not the US Love is Blind, but he was on Love is Blind. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna give them a whole feature length film for their engagement, why not show him with baby?
Right. Well, I was happy to see Cameron there without his they did mention, Lauren's at home with the baby, but I did like seeing
Exactly.
Cameron there. I liked getting a little update from him, and I liked the question that they asked him. I think the thing that's going around is Giannina's boobs being in every shot of these people answering
I mean,
questions.
those were
Um,
really awkward angles because, the people were sitting down, she's standing up, so she's like towering over them. It had to have been hard to get a good shot of that whole thing because it's just an
yeah.
awkward place to be. It's just somebody is way up there, she's in heels. It's just, I don't know, I didn't like that. I feel like they should have maybe pulled people to the side or something, had everyone
Yeah.
standing up, but we certainly didn't need to invest any more time or production into that end of the stage. So
Yeah.
whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, I noticed that as well. At least she was looking good. I mean,
There
both
was a lot
Janina
of
and AB were looking
yeah, I just thought it was funny that Damien was also around, so she's, like, walking past that man, and I don't know, but either way,
good.
Jessica was there with her little EpiPen, lots of gimmicks
There were,
in the
especially in
audience
the
there.
beginning when they were sort of panning into people in the beginning. Yeah, there were. That's a good point. There were a lot of gimmicks. She needed a higher neckline. Probably could have used one, sure. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
Padawan.
well, here we are. So, yeah, they started off with the least exciting to talk about because they barely showed them at all in the
Right.
season, but want me to be very excited about them, Vic and Christine, which I
Yeah.
am excited about them. I love hearing like about how life is like for them back home, the little
Mhm.
post-its and just how cute their relationship is. It's very reminiscent of like Lauren and Cameron, and everybody loves Vic. I mean, the things he
He's
was saying
great.
in the pods, yeah, he just seems like a genuine soul. So it was
Yeah.
good to hear from them. But of course, they had to touch on the vacation thing. Like, how did you feel being the ones to be chosen to go to Maui or Malibu or wherever the hell they
Malibu.
went?
Yeah, well, they couldn't
Yeah,
afford Maui. Hell no.
yeah, you're right. And Christine does say, I think she said sister or friend or something mentioned that she is not as exciting to watch. So she wasn't surprised that she was not taken to Mexico.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
mean, she said ultimately she felt better about it because she doesn't really like to be on in front of, the star of everything. So I think they got a great experience, honestly. I think that's probably a better experience to not really have to be mixed in with the drama because the producers do, put people in front of you. And I'm sure that they had people that they dated in the pods and things could have maybe
mhm,
looked and got a little bit messier for them. I wish I also could have seen that because they're a great couple. So whatever obstacles they faced, they got over really well. I haven't seen them.
we didn't see no obstacles from them at all. It just went
I
like
mean,
super smooth.
they're so cute. I mean, maybe they don't, but I just don't think that that's realistic either. I think they just got an incredibly glossy, glittery edit, which is fine. They're
Yeah,
perfect. They really are. They love each
yeah. I
other.
mean,
My
compared to the
husband
rest
was
of what was,
actually almost about to throw up listening to them talk about the notes and the coming home to each other, and it's the best part of the day and all of that. But I had to remind him too, like, they really still are just getting to know each other. They're really not just in the honeymoon phase of their marriage. They're in the honeymoon phase of their relationship. Like they really do still love all those things about each other. They're in love.
Right. Sometimes like we're like, oh God, he's home. Now I have to
that's like,
talk.
7, 8, 9, 10 years in. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they had a cute little update. They got a trip sponsored by TurboTax. And
I was scared with the TurboTax thing on the front of the envelope. I was like, are they about to like tax them for this fake vacation that they gave them? Like, what is going on? Is this a bill? Like, I was so confused.
I don't know. I think TurboTax is looking for some spokespeople, and might as well send these two on a vacation and then be like, and now let's do some tax content.
I know that was such an interesting advertisement. But hey, I am really happy for Christine and Vic that they do get to have a vacation. And I think that this will be, again, a better situation for them anyways. They don't have to stop with producers and have all these confessional scenes and be where they need to be. They don't have any call times. They're just actually going on vacation together as a married couple. So I think that's really nice.
Perfect. And it is tax season. So what a great way for TurboTax to sneak themselves in a Love is Blind situation.
Here's to that.
Loved the brown. Yes. Loved the brown suit on Vic. I'm really loving brown lately. And the matching dress, perfect as well. So, but that's all I got to say with them. Moving on.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on with them. Happy.
Yeah. People are saying that Connor needs to run as fast as he can from this woman.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions, definitely. Generally I'm happy for them. I was happy to hear that they stayed together and that they're still together, and that at least on television, Brie is saying that she, wants to be with this man like forever. Like she's ready to go to the altar, she says. So I was happy for them on the outside, on the surface level. But when you start to peel back some things, it does become concerning for Connor. Like,
yeah, it seems like he's very oblivious in his own relationship.
He does. And I don't know if that is like he is oblivious, but he's paying attention and he's still tapped in, or if that is kind of just his like bad pattern and his way of not like actually being present in a relationship. Because I thought that the whole trip with Devontae, whatever that man's name is, I thought that trip was weird. And she wasn't the only woman there, but she certainly had to speak for everybody, unfortunately. And she did kind of get a little tossed in the mud with all of that. I just have a lot of questions, not just for her, but also for Connor. I know he's like, oh, I just thought it was a girls' trip. And I guess according to all the photos and whatever it was, but now you know that this woman, your potential future wife, went on a whole trip, took photos, purposefully did not show an entire person that was there intentionally. And at what point did he know about it? And why didn't he have questions about it? And I just thought that the whole thing was shady, and he acted so nonchalant about the shadiness. I'm sure they're trying to show a united front. I hope that that's what they're doing. That's what they need to do probably. But to do that while he's like, oh, I just thought it was a girls' trip, and be oblivious, it does make me raise my eyebrows. I have very mixed emotions about this couple because I like them together. And I think the whole thing where they live next door to each other is kind of cute and funny, and they call it the basement. And that's very Connor and Brie. They're kind of they're developing a culture together that I think could work. But I hope that she's not using her kind of alpha status in the relationship to take advantage of him. And it looks like that might be happening.
Yes.
He went on a whole lunch day and he didn't know it. A whole lunch day? She went on a whole vacation with another man.
Yeah, she did. She went on the lunch date with Devo to invite him on the trip, I believe.
Oh, you're
So
right, Padawan. Yeah.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that those two, like it's, almost one thing to not know about one of those things that he was there, although I think that it's still kind of ridiculous. But to not know about both, I think is a good point because, you're not even telling them you're getting lunch with this man, or maybe you were having lunch somewhere and ran into this man. Like, it's
I
not
think
that he's some strange guy that, Connor doesn't know. You could be like, oh, I
right,
ran into Devo today. I had lunch, or
right,
had lunch with Devo today. Like,
right.
this Connor doesn't seem to give a flying F about anything either. like,
Oh, that is true. I mean, really, he
Yeah.
doesn't. He's like, I just move dumpsters around for a living and I come home and drink beer. Like, he's a very simple man.
Right.
And
He
I
even
think
forgot a whole suit. He forgot a whole suit to this
I
thing.
don't know what
He's
I'm gonna
wearing
wear.
a spare suit from Brittany's dad,
No,
and that was one of the things that they argued about was his look.
yes, yes. And, I don't know, I think that this could work for them. It could be a thing, I think especially for Brie that, she can kind of be her overachieving self and he can kind of support her. I think that that can be fine, but I just worry I don't know if she's going to be like respectful of him, like actually respect him.
Right. We don't want him to come into nothing. I mean, love is blind, but you don't got to stay blind, bro. Like, just kind of stand up for yourself a little bit here and be like, hey, like, that's weird. You
Right.
going to lunch with another man is weird. You not telling me
It is.
another man is on vacation is weird.
It
You
is.
know,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
knows
And
what
we all
happened on
know
that
that
vacation? I
Devo's
mean, it was,
into blonde white women. So, and it seems like
well,
all the men were into Brie.
why is Devo the one that's with 3 other women on vacation? Like, I don't understand how that happens.
Well, I
I
also
guess she
heard
invited him, but,
Brit
you know.
Brittany, right? That was Dev's girl. Yeah, Brittany and I'm already forgetting their names, you guys. I mean, I've watched 7
Is it
shows
Amber?
since this show was on. Yes, Brittany and Amber were on the Vile Files. It just dropped this morning, so check that out after you watch this. But I heard from Brittany that apparently Dev had dated Ashley in the pods and that it's possible she has a suspicion that the whole reason he was at that concert with those 3 women was to try to feel things out with Ashley and see how things would go with her. But that shockingly,
While
Brittany
he's
said
living while he's living with her ex,
with her ex, yes. I
So
mean, all these guys are just dirty, rotten. Not all of them. Connor's fine, actually. But like most of these guys are just dirty, rotten scoundrels.
yeah, I feel like maybe Alex and, Devo had, like, a side conversation in Cabo, like, "Yeah, we're not attracted to our ladies. I'm attracted to your lady. You're attracted to my lady. Let's see if we can just pull a little switch
I
here."
think they really
Like,
had a fantasy of that, and they were trying their best to see if they could make that work, whether that's on camera, off camera, whatever. Because then, again, we're running into situations where these guys are friends, but they're sort of trying to make moves on ladies. I mean, I guess that's why Nick Lachey had to step in and ask, like, what happened to the bro code in Ohio, you guys? You guys are just passing around these ladies like they're hot tamales.
yeah, like they're sharing a cigarette.
It's just
Mhm,
crazy. Absolutely insane.
mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know, mixed feelings with these 2. Like I said, I'm glad that they're living next door to each other. I am glad that they're still together. It seems like there's a lot of relationship to live between the 2 of them before they actually get married. So, I think they did make the right choice. She also never,
Right. Although
she
I
never
do hope
elaborated about her not being in her best place. She talked a lot about that at the end, that she wasn't in a good place and not her best self. And I wish that they would have asked her, why was that? Was there something personal going on? Was it like the filming situation? Was she stressed?
well, as usual, we're always left with unasked questions. I mean, not even more questions, but just unasked questions. I don't know. I honestly think that was all a cop out just to not get married at the time. Like, you're not even
Sure.
getting my best self, and you love me. You
Well,
still
that's why I
like when
wanted
she
to
almost
ask
started with
about
that. Yeah, when she almost started with that at the reunion, like, he loves me for me, for who I am. And then she slid in with and I love him too. Like, girl, you better, because
I know.
you're right.
He
He
is
does love you. He loves you even though you go on trips with random castmates, and he loves you
and
even when you
doesn't
go
give
on
an
lunch
F,
dates without telling
a
you.
flying F. And I do think that
No
there's
flying
something
F.
admirable about someone that is that secure. I think that that can be a strength in a relationship. I think that that's really cool. Like somebody like me, like I don't respond well to jealousy and feeling like possessive from somebody else. So I think that
Mhm.
that's really attractive that he can be that steady and that calm, but don't be so steady and calm that you don't actually know what's going on. Like there's a difference between
Right.
being permissive and allowing someone to have their space and being completely oblivious to what's going on in the world. That's not okay.
Right. Like, what are you doing, and why are you so oblivious? Like, it almost makes me wonder, like, are you don't really care as much because maybe you just don't see this going long term, or you're just kind of going through the motions, or what is
Right.
it? Because
I think
most
that's
people
definitely
would at least, yeah.
the lack of communication between them is telling. Very true. Hey Days, how are you? Very true.
Hello, dates. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's what I got out of their section, is that, yeah, they're together, but they're not communicating much with each other. Which makes me almost wonder, like, are they only together to come to the reunion and say that they're together? Are they gonna last much longer than the reunion? I don't know.
Yeah, and what's
I
gonna
guess we'll
happen
see.
if and when they break up and they're literal neighbors? I
I
I
don't
think
know.
this
I
season
mean, I'm
should
sure
have an
she
after
doesn't,
the altar.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, do we
Yeah,
move
I don't
on from
know. It's
them?
weird to be neighbors and dating too, honestly. Like, it's a little strange to be neighbors and dating.
Well, it seems
So,
like they don't really stay apart from each other. They just kind of have this safety net. There's just something where they're not committing to each other, obviously. Like they're committed enough
yeah.
to date, but they don't wanna live together at this point, and I guess that makes a lot of sense. They are still actually within their first year of dating. So maybe we should cut them some slack.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
yeah, I don't
guess,
know.
but the
We'll
trips
see.
and the weird stuff, that is weird to me. That is a red flag to me. So, keep
Yes,
your
they
eyes
have
open,
been
Connor. I
committed.
mean, you might not have to give a flying F, but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely watch out for yourself a little bit, bro.
So,
Anyways,
I mean,
moving
we could
on.
probably get into Connor. It was a little weird. I think you texted me about this during the reunion of like Connor and Jessica's situation just kind of like barged into, or Connor and not Connor, Chris and Jessica, right?
Chris and
Yeah.
Jessica's, yeah.
Yeah, they just
Yep.
kind of barged in. I mean, not purposefully. The Lachey's did that, but they just appeared within the middle of their part, and then we still came back
Mhm.
over to Connor and Bree and like wrapped them up after. So we could talk about the
Yeah, it
villain.
was weird.
Well, not her, him, Lord
Yeah.
Farquaad himself.
I bet this man wouldn't have Lord Farquaad is right. This man would not have shown up if he wasn't contractually obligated to, I'm sure, because he looked miserable the whole time there, barely said a word,
Agreed.
didn't want to. I mean, that's probably his best move. The more he talks, the worse it gets for
Yeah.
him. So,
Part
probably
of
the
me
best thing was
thinks
to be,
that he could have possibly wanted to show up to try to rehab his image a little bit and, talk on behalf because he did do his best to try to give an apology. He just had way too much to apologize for. He'd already done way too many bad things in his history before he even came to Love is Blind that nobody is going to take what he says seriously. I mean, we've heard your voicemails to
Mhm.
women, man, like, and it's gross. It's just absolutely gross. So even a
Yeah.
well thought out apology is not, it doesn't correct a bad person. So like I just I think he
Right.
thought that he could show up there because he seems a little bit self-centered and into himself. I think he really thought he could show up there and talk himself up a really nice apology, and everyone would be like, wow, you're restored. Everything is good. And I think he got all of the hate is a strong word, but he got all of the feedback that he needed to get. And I hope that he takes all of that feedback to heart and to therapy and to everything and tries to restore some sense of worthiness in his body because it is not happening right now. This guy is gross.
Yeah, I mean, Alex is very lucky this man was on the same season as him because he did
Bless.
get a lot of flack up there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and so is Devo. I mean, this is the season of like really crappy guys, and we've had quite a few of those seasons, but you know, there was 3 really outstanding crappy guys this season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Devo, he got a lot of flack even before they got to him. Like he was probably already uncomfortable because of Amber calling him out, like, you know, you're not like a bad person, like Chris, and, like staring at him and like, I hate you. I still hate you. I'll
The
forever hate
Lachey's come
you.
with a follow-up question. Why, Chris? Tell us more. Like, go in on him. And she just does. Like, it's just
Way to make him like feel, you know, because I think once that occurred, it was even harder for him to like get out of that like little shell. And I kind of wanted to talk himself into a hole. I want to see what he had to say more, but I think after that he was like, all right, I already know how this is gonna go. Like even when they went to him, Nick Lachey was like, oh, well, you were so horrible this season. Me and my wife could barely watch you on TV. But like, what do you
you have
have
to
to say
get up
about
and
it?
walk away. Like, come on. You did not. It's a television show.
You weren't doing that, but yes, you know. Then did Nick Lachey seem personally offended by the people of Ohio because they represented his state or something? He's like, come on, guys, like what's going on here in Ohio? Like what happened since I've left 30 years
He,
ago?
he
Like,
really was trying to, like, restore everyone's integrity on the stage by reminding them that they're from Ohio. And I think for the rest of the country, we can see through that. We're good on all that. Thank you.
we're like, this is what we expect from Ohio. What are you talking about? I mean, Nick
Especially
Lachey
us
really
from
took over this reunion. He felt personally obligated to run the whole reunion too. Like this is like the least I heard from Vanessa Lachey in any reunion. She was
yeah.
even starting to talk like in the beginning, and he's like, "Just stop! It's my reunion." And he's like,
Leave it
"Oh,
alone.
and then the people in the audience were barely doing it back. I'm like,
Because
Nick
none of them
Lachey,
are probably
have
from
yourself a little
Ohio. They
Xanax.
got
It's from
150 motherfuckers from previous, excuse my language, from previous seasons. None of those people are probably from Ohio, maybe 1 or 2. Like, nobody else knows
yeah."
that
And
chant
they're
or
like,
wants to do it.
"Yeah." He's like, "Oh wait," and they're like, "I like, looking at each
No,
other. It
no.
was so weird. I'm like, Nick Lachey, is this your reunion? Do you even need your wife up here? You're the one
You,
asking almost all of the questions this time.
you
So,
can't force
I
Ohio on
mean,
people
whatever.
like that. It's just sickening.
Of all states to
Of
force
all
upon us.
states. Like, that's just insane to me. Come on, Nick Lachey. Get it together.
Side note, I am surprised I haven't done a California season yet. I
Right.
feel like that would be maybe it's too close to home for the production, but yeah. Either way. So yeah, they do eventually lean in from this whole Chris drama into the Chris and Brittany, or no, yeah, what was her name?
Jessica?
Jessica. Oh my god,
Yeah.
Jessica drama. They all have
Yeah.
such basic names. I'm sorry, like
They-
all the girls do. They're all Brittany, Ashley,
Yep.
Jessie,
Yep.
Amber. Brie, like they're all
Yeah.
such like there's
I
no
know.
flavor in any of the like no one seasons their chicken here on this stage, it seems.
Not on the stage,
Besides
probably not.
maybe Vic.
Yeah. I mean, and even Vic has, such it's like such a classic name. It's not like a more like Victor is That's a very like old name.
Yeah, but I mean, I just feel like he's been through a little bit more living in New York and stuff, and being who he is. But yeah, I just feel like he's
Did
probably
you learn how
seasons
to
his chicken
season
more than
chicken
the
in
rest of
New
these
York?
people. He said he's lived a life.
He has. He has lived a life.
Anyone who's lived a life has to at least eat well.
This is true.
Anyways, so they get over to Jessica and Chris's situation, and I mean, this was all just Jess didn't want to have nothing to do with this man. She didn't want to look him in the eye. She didn't want an apology for him. She didn't have words for him. She said, she deserves better. And, that's pretty much the gist of what we got from her. She,
Yeah.
looked great. Everybody gave her nice compliments. It was really like Chris versus Jessica, and everybody
Everyone.
loves Jessica. She's this
Yes.
beautiful soul and all these things. So
It was getting under my skin that people kept saying that she has a beautiful soul. And it just was giving like you're an old decrepit woman or something, like she is beautiful. Like period. I was getting so annoyed with, Ashley with her past comments of like, well, she's not morbidly obese when she was talking to Chris about her. And then when she's talking at the reunion and gives her a little fake apology for not being kinder during that time, she's all like, oh, well, you have a beautiful soul and blah, blah, blah. No, this woman is gorgeous. Let's all not forget that Chris wanted to pretend that it was her body and her lack of working out that made him want to walk away. So no, I think we all need to make sure that she knows she doesn't just have a beautiful soul. Like
yeah,
she's
it
not
was
a
like Jesse
witch.
McCartney in there.
Beautiful
Yeah,
soul.
it was. Yeah, it was a lot. They kept giving her all these nice compliments, but then they don't invite her on the girls' trip. They don't seem to have much of an actual relationship. I like how at one point someone said, "Oh, all of us girls are so close." I think it might have even been her. And I'm like, you guys are not all so close because all you guys would have been going on trips together instead of with random cast
Yeah.
men, you
Yeah.
know?
I think there is a clear divide in the women of this cast. And I don't know. I'm a little suspect of the three that went on that vacation. I think it just tells a lot about them,
Mhm.
even if it was the way that they described it, where they already had a plan and then, you know, Devo wanted to come and he kind of invited himself or whatever in the Airbnb. I mean, the whole thing seemed like a lot of details for something that
But
could
how
have
does
just
someone invite themselves when they're not hanging out with you or something? Like there
well,
had
they
to have been some
definitely
kind of
were. Yes, they definitely
point of
were all
contact.
hanging out. That and
Yeah.
you're right to question like not just the vacation, but how did this vacation how did it come to fruition? How was it planned?
Yeah.
When did all the communication around that happen? Because I think that is the real sauce right there.
Right. The man that makes like $40,000 on a good month, but couldn't have an Airbnb ready that night. And I get the frustration with Pre being like, yeah, I didn't want him in my Airbnb. He was supposed to
Right.
have his own whatever. He couldn't even drive his little Honda Accord. I had to pick him up from the airport, whatever. But y'all still invited this man. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. You still
it's your
picked
own
him
fault.
up. He was in the vehicle. Y'all
Yeah, you
probably
didn't have to
went
pick
and
him up.
had foods
If he
with him.
truly invited himself, he would have just like ran into him there or something. Like he would have found his own way from the airport to his own Airbnb and then contact you or whatever. Like y'all made plans to pick him up from the airport.
Right. There was obviously more communication than just, I'm going to show up. Like,
Yeah.
there was a little more coordination than that. Even in them being so clear that they said, you can't stay with us before the vacation even happened, implies that they were considering all staying together. And somebody decided that's probably not a good look. So you can't. And then he was like, fuck it, I'm going
Right.
to do it anyways.
Yeah, like, oh, my Airbnb ain't ready, but I'm already here. Whoopsie, what do I
Yep.
do?
Not sleep with
Like,
you, Ashley.
like you guys couldn't have just dropped him off at the nearest Hilton or something. Like there's hotels too that he
Honestly.
could have stayed at while getting ready, like
Yeah,
waiting for
what
an
does this man
Airbnb.
need a kitchen for? Like, he's really gonna cook something.
He's just trying to get in someone's room. I just wonder if he actually, had any kind of, I don't wouldn't say like a hookup, but maybe like a little thing going on
Tried.
with one of those girls.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure that it sounds like he tried with Ashley. I think Jessica, she talks a little bit about on the Vile Files, she talks about having a conversation with Ashley about the whole vacation and everything that went down. She says that her and Ashley are on really good terms and that they had a really honest conversation. So I feel like because of the situation with Devo, I think Ashley probably did reach out and say, this man tried to make a move on me. I just, I think that's why that conversation probably happened,
Mm.
because Jessica wasn't talking to any of the, she wasn't talking
You
to
mean
Priyanka, she
Brittany?
wasn't talking to Bree.
Do you mean
No,
Brittany?
that's Jessica, right?
Yeah, that's Jessica. But are you talking about Bree and Devo?
No, Ashley.
Oh, okay.
He was into Ashley. Devo was into
Right, but why
Ashley.
would she call Jessica about it when she called Brittany about it?
Ashley, I think, called Jessica to tell on Devo.
Okay. I thought she called Brittany. Well, Amber called Brittany, but then Jessica or Ashley did say she talked to Brittany herself
Yeah.
and they were
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
Because why would Jessica
Absolutely.
give a flying F about who Devo's?
I mean, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
This is
I can't get off of this trip and how
yeah.
everybody was just so dirty.
Yeah, it was very dirty.
It was.
Even
I mean,
Alex, like to Alex, if you're Devo and you guys share a timeshare in Arizona, you would think, you wouldn't have to, go sneaking around with his lady. But I mean, obviously Alex didn't give a crap about his lady when he showed up to the wedding with crumbs in his beard. So I'm not, maybe they planned it.
yes, and do you know that man showed up with crumbs in his beard, disheveled on purpose because he wanted to, quote, save something for his wife?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? He said, my suit was 2 sizes too large, and I purposely did nothing about it and didn't shave or get a haircut the day of my wedding because I wanted to save something for my wife. That, he says, was his reasoning for looking like the hobosexual that he is.
He's saving the crumbs in his beard for his wife? Like,
He
is
was
that
saving all of that for his wife. He was protesting that wedding silently by his outfits and his beard. Can you believe it? This guy is a whole quack.
so? You're saved your good outfit and your shaved beard, your done up beard for your actual wife.
Yep,
I'm
apparently.
just like,
This
what
is
is
not a guess, by the way, you guys. This is straight out of Alex's mouth. I watched him do an interview, I think yesterday, and he was asked why he looked the way he looked, and he said, I wanted to save something for my wife. Also, if you guys didn't notice, my suit was a little big. He said that his jacket was basically the size of a trench coat on him, and that production asked if he wanted it changed. He said, I chose not to do anything about it because I wanted to save something for my wife. This
so you
guy
wanted to
is,
save better fitting clothes and a shaved up beard for your wife? Like, no
yes,
one's gonna notice or pay attention to that. Like,
no, that's why
maybe
he had to
save.
tell us all. Like, the only thing that we noticed was the crumbs in his beard, and he made sure to clarify that those were there on accident.
He's I just can't imagine when he actually does like decide to get married one day in his 50s or whatever. And he's like, I saved my good look for you. Like
Yeah,
he's gonna let
yeah,
her know. Like on my last wedding, I looked a mess because I was saving it for you. I was saving this mess for you.
it's
Like,
crazy. That's absolute craziness.
I mean, that's
So, do we
some
move on from
intense.
Jessica? She's dating someone else from the pods. He's madly in love with her. He totally proclaimed his love to the world and to
Mhm.
her. It was quite. adorable.
Yeah. Let's go over to Alex since we're on the topic of him, I guess, real quick.
Let's do it.
Because, I mean, they honestly gave us nothing between these two, anyways. Like, I noticed how much time they spent on everyone else but Alex and Ashley. And I would say Emma and Mike. But yeah, but back over to him. I mean, what a performance this season.
Look at, he got his hair done and his mustache shaved for this. Maybe his wife is in the room.
I don't know. He did his hair regular and everything. So I don't know what's going on with that man. They asked him a straight up question of like, did he lie? Or, they kind of at first, Vanessa kind of came at him a little bit with the timeline and everything. And he just got very snippy. You knew this man prepared for this. He is the epitome of an overthinker and overtalker. Like he's overthinking if he thinks that having a crumb in his beard is saving anything for his next wife or his next wedding. So that's just somebody who thinks way too much about stupid things.
When I heard Ashley call him out and say that thing about like ChatGPT and rehearse lines and things like that, the first time I heard that, I was like, okay, that's a little specific and kind of weird. Like, who does that? But then, I saw his interview with his calculated beard and all these things about Safe House. And I'm like, maybe he does like really calculate his front, his mask, his facade to the T. I mean, he has to, right? Because the way that he talks is not normal. And then when people say, hey, the way you talk is not normal, he's like a master gaslighter into being like, well, you're not normal. You're just confused because I'm a confusing guy. I went from this place to that place. I got every receipt in the world. It's like, bro, you are not normal. Nobody has all these explanations for exactly why they did everything that was a good reason. People mess up. People do bad things and make mistakes, or, it's just weird. The whole guy,
or like when they're like, you just have all the answers, which is so like weird and feels rehearsed. He's like, well, am I not supposed to have the answers?
You are supposed to have the answers, but not within a millisecond of the question being asked. Like, act as if you are being thoughtful for a moment about your response, and it's not just downloaded into your computer brain. And Blue says, as much as I hate him, I loved that he didn't back down about his preferences because it bothered Ashley so much that he didn't like a skinny blonde. It did bother Ashley a lot. And he was very unapologetic about it. And sure, I mean, respect to him for that.
It's just the way he would do it too. He'd be like, well, you're not like my normal type and blah, blah, blah. And, whatever. Like he would bring it up so nonchalant in conversations all the time.
He did.
Like,
he really did.
I don't know. I couldn't have dealt with it for as long as she did. I know like they have to make it to the altar. They're supposed to or whatever, but I don't know if I could have made it to the altar with that man, especially after the cast gathering where his Austin story wasn't like, he's just so confusing. Oh yeah. You're objectively pretty. Like what is that?
I almost said that earlier today when I was talking about one of the cast members because he implanted that stupid phrase into my own brain. Please, Lord, never let me say that out loud.
Like, you're objectively pretty. Like
what does that mean? Like, you're symmetrical and you're skinny and you have long hair. You have those just sort of like
pretty
stereotypical attractive nature that
and when he describes her, it's always you have beautiful eyes and the nice smile and stuff. And it's like, wow, you really don't like this girl. And she's a beautiful woman. I mean, she really is. It's yeah, but I get, having your preferences. His preference is Brittany, I guess, and her boobs.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, like I do think I am never mad at anybody for having physical preferences and feeling like you have to be physically attracted in order to be in a relationship with somebody. But I do get upset with people who go on Love is Blind and have those kinds of preferences because you're just setting yourself up for failure. You're wasting someone else's opportunity and time on like less than a 50-50 shot. If you're so dead set on dating and marrying a brunette. I mean, how did he phrase that? Maybe one of you can remember when he said like that was the first strike or something, that she was blonde.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. That's just you're a sad man. So I think they're both
Yeah.
single though right now, right? Or was Ashley dating somebody?
Is it he's no, I think they're both single right now. We will see them on Perfect Match at some point. Best
I'm sure.
believe.
And maybe that's why they didn't focus on them too much. They really want to probably keep their like reputation as much intact as possible so that they can be back on Perfect Match together. And Blue says, but we did see the tea that Ashley was meeting up with her. Yes, thank you for bringing this up. I totally forgot that Ashley was meeting up with her situationship
Yes.
during filming and threw him a
Yeah.
birthday party 2 days after the wedding. She was never serious and very rehearsal. So thank you. This happened like a week ago, I think, or something this really came out, maybe even 2 weeks ago by now. So I totally forgot. So that is facts. And I was surprised to learn that too. I mean, not shocked, but just surprised that she was really doing the damn scam. She was playing out this Love is Blind thing all the way up to the altar. She was doing the scenes. She was acting at the end. And she had a plan all along not to be with this man. Otherwise, I really don't think
she played the part better than he did.
Yeah, I mean,
because to me, Alex was obvious.
Yes, from day
he
one,
was doing obvious things.
Yeah, he was
but
there
she
to
was like
be a weasel.
Exactly. She was playing the part so well, and she did have like a little boyfriend or a little thing on the side. And
Yes.
Alex even, I think, called that out a little bit as well. Like he knew that was going on. I think they both were on the show for reasons that everybody gets on the show. I mean, a little bit of notoriety, maybe a podcast, maybe Perfect Match, maybe just to get on TV.
Right.
Yeah, I just feel like the show has definitely lost its authenticity like many seasons ago. So now you're getting people like this where it's like you're watching it and you're thinking that one thing's going on, but then there's another thing going on behind the scenes. Same thing with Devo. Devo had like a girlfriend he was avoiding the whole time, saying he was on a business trip or something. Like,
it still seems like what's her name? Brittany, right? Still seems like Brittany is trying to be delusional about that whole thing. When she was on the podcast that I watched this morning, I mean, Amber still had to, and Nick Viall, I mean, they had to all remind her that this man was basically in a relationship the entire time. She was over here talking about, well, he's been in 2 relationships since, and so it's interesting that he has a baby on the way. And like, yes, all of that is true, and I do agree with that too. But at the same time, he was dating somebody before and after the show, and probably drove his stupid Honda straight to her house right after he left your house, calling you clingy. So please don't delulu yourself, because when you delulu yourself, you don't learn the lessons that you need to learn, girl.
Yeah, she looked shocked when he said he was having a baby, and so did her dad. Her dad
He said that she was.
Yeah. They both looked very shocked, especially because he's engaged and having a baby. I mean, she was like, well, what the hell? I wanted all that with you myself. Why couldn't we have just done that?
I know.
If that's what you're about to do in a few minutes, like.
Brittany wanted him back. Her dad looked so dejected when he found more than dejected. I mean, the man like keeled over in physical pain. It was so sad to watch. And Blue, you're right. Brittany wanted him back. I feel like. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I do feel like part of why he reacted that way is because he knew that his daughter was like shocked, that was gonna be something he was gonna have to deal with later as well. That Brittany was like gonna be completely shocked by this, crying on his shoulder, whatever. But he also, for some reason, I mean, just watching this like whole part was cringy to me because of everything we knew. I know this was probably filmed before the stuff came out with the girlfriend and everything, but I'm like, no one's asking him about having a girlfriend. He's able to come on here and just blindside everybody with an engagement, even though he's living in Arizona with homeboy Alex.
Yeah.
And
Nobody
a
asked him
child.
why he came on this show with biased tendencies against women of color in any way,
Exactly.
shape, or fashion. Nobody gave him one iota of a question or a blink of an eye about how
Yep.
he treated Brittany and the things that went down. I cannot believe that
Yeah.
that was looked over. And I owe
The whole
Brittany an
thing.
apology because I said that I did not like her reunion look, but I think it was just the photo. I really liked the dress in movement in video and her hair in this. I loved her hair. All the little dangly curlies I thought were really cute.
Yes. Well, she'll appreciate it when she sees this.
I know. Personal apology.
Anyways, yeah, there was no accountability held to Devo. In fact, like even his little side, even if you just take what he did on the show, like Nick made a joke about it, like, oh, you gave that soccer video more energy than the entire experiment. Like, yeah, where is that push on that? Like, you sat on a couch just looking like that, like Cabbage Patch Ninja Turtle man, and no expressions, just yeah. Only thing you ever brought up was a prenup. I mean, her poor dad was like, "Did you lie to me?" And he's like, "What?
So
About what? Did you lie to me about being ready to marry my daughter?" Yes, of course he did. He lied about coming on this whole entire show being ready to get married. That woman he's engaged to, he's only engaged to, like, it's only because she's having a child with him. There is no rhyme or reason for him to be engaged for any other reason, and he's probably not going to marry her.
Brittany said she's questioning that the engagement's even real on the Vile Files.
Don't even worry about it, girl. It's probably not, but that's not your business. It's not your mess anymore. Like, you should be thankful you dodged a bullet.
Agreed.
No one
and
saw
when
your
she
wedding
said
dress.
that, it gives me suspicion that she was maybe going to this reunion, especially with her dad in tow with all his questions and his accountability, possibly trying to get this man back, possibly trying to, get this ship back on track a little bit, because even her dad's questions seemed like he was trying to set Devo up to like restore his own situation so that they could be back together. Like, did you lie to me or not? And give me an explanation that makes some reasonable sense. And this guy just couldn't give any explanation that makes reasonable sense, because he is not the man that he said that he was. You all are trying to hold Devo up to accountability to a man that he pretended to be and displayed himself to be, but is not actually that guy. He is actually a guy who gets women pregnant and then gets engaged to them. And now he's probably just going to have this woman on ice for the next 18 years as well.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Silly man. And Blue says, Bree being so shady about the trip and disrespectful towards Brittany when her dad literally drove down Connor's suit pissed me off so badly. That is such a fact. I think all of that is very true. There just should have been so much more respect paid to Brittany after the fact.
And her family. I mean, those people are beautiful people. It's just sad to see like what happened with Brittany. I mean, she looks like this desperate woman who just wanted to get married. I mean, she did fall for this man in the pods, but there's so many times where we see people come out of the pods and they're not who they were in the pods. I mean, this man was just trying to go to Mexico. Like Patrick was trying to go to Mexico. Like,
and Brittany said some things about the dress that made sense too. Personally, I was never that creeped out about the dress, even from the beginning in the pods. I think just because you buy a wedding dress doesn't mean that you're desperate to get married. A wedding dress can sit in a closet just like a nice dress can sit in a closet. It doesn't mean that it's going to be the next man. I think it was a way for her to talk about or to say to herself, like, I'm ready to get married. I'm in that space. But she said more specifically about Love is Blind. that she wanted to have a wedding dress made because she's 5 foot tall and she did not want to be in a potato sack. And she knew it was going to take a long time to get alterations and stuff for that. And I know that you and I, as fellow 5 foot tall humans, can attest. It took me at least 3 separate alterations to get my dress figured out. I mean, I know that they can take her measurements generally beforehand, but I don't know. I'm not mad at her for having a dress. It's
I
probably
don't
an
know.
unpopular opinion. I feel like they should
The
all wear wedding
alterations.
dresses. Every
I do
single
feel like
one of
the
them.
alterations. Yeah, to me, the alterations thing's kind of a cop out. To be honest, like it's just something
I
to
don't
throw in
think
there
so.
because she has a whole. I mean, Netflix could get that dress done in the amount of time. I mean, they've done it for other people before. There are people who are super tall that
They have
dresses aren't made for their height and
who was
stuff.
it?
Like,
Um, the guy who did Nike shoes for a living. What was his name?
yeah, Brett.
What was his Brett? They had Brett run into a whole lady, a whole old lady, to get his alterations done just right. So I feel like they alter them, but they don't do it to a T like you would on your wedding day.
I just don't think that's the actual reason she got the dress early. And I'm
Well,
not
I don't
saying
think
that
that's
it's
the
bad that she
actual
got the dress.
reason, but I think that makes a lot of sense too. Of like, she
Yeah,
had that
I don't.
whole what is it, mermaid kind of dress. If you don't have that fit perfectly to your hips, you will look like a potato sack, especially at 5 foot tall. Which is why I
Yeah.
don't touch those kinds of dresses.
Sure. I mean, to me, I think it's weird to get a dress early because you don't know when you're getting married and your sense of style could change. You could not want that dress anymore and want something else. You could see something that's more you. And the fact that you're going on and trying on wedding dresses is just a little odd. I mean, like, can you imagine what that appointment was like? Like going there and being like, oh, I'm looking for a wedding
Yeah.
dress. And then them
And all
asking
the
you about your
alterations.
wedding and you're
I
like,
was thinking about that too, like even going back time after time to get it, fitted perfectly because that was part of her reasoning, right? It's like, they ask you like, when's the wedding and blah blah blah. It's just like, yeah, it's just in my dreams.
when yeah,
Yeah,
like when do you have to have this done by?
right,
Because she can get it perfectly fitted right now, but it might not fit her when she needs it. Like
right. Well, I think
bodies
she was
change.
expecting to get married on Love Is Blind. I think, I don't know. Part of me thinks like it's not just about meeting the perfect guy. I think that there are plenty of people out there that are good enough and suitable enough to get married. A marriage is not a perfect thing all the time where you have to be completely like interlocked. There are things you just have to work through and endure. So I feel like
Yeah.
she went there and she was committed to getting married to anyone who was suitable enough that met her little checklist that she came in there with. And this guy fooled the fooling out of her.
But the things she was willing to accept, I mean, they didn't even talk much about how he wasn't complimenting her and like she was willing to
Right.
take bare minimum from him just to get up to
Yes.
the altar. And
Yeah.
that's not healthy either. I don't know. Like I think she's a great person, and I think there is like a better person out there for her. And I wish she saw like had more 2020 like hindsight, like
Right.
instead of, oh well, maybe it's a fake engagement or whatever. Maybe it's a fake baby. Like maybe he just went there to
No, she
shock
thought
me.
the baby was real.
Like,
She said something about his social media not really looking like he was an engaged man kind of
no.
situation. So
They're
I
not
would
supposed to look
definitely
like that
recommend.
right now, aren't they? Aren't they not supposed to look like that after the show? I mean, even one of the
Well,
ex-girlfriend said he made her delete photos because he's like, I contractually cannot have this photo of me up. Like, you have to
yes,
wait.
yeah. I think part of that is
So
hiding behind that though as well, because a lot of people blow their cover, especially around reunion time. I mean, everybody knew before reunion that this man was engaged and did have a baby on the way. So I don't know. But yeah, I would definitely recommend to anyone to check out that interview. Because you're right, Miss Anne. There are some things that she really tries to justify, tries to like rationalize for herself. And then there's also some, I think, just good information that helps to fill in some of the gaps. His photos are also a scam. His photos or Chris's photos? Because did you guys see Chris's photos on Instagram looking like a whole AI?
that was, I think they're both scams. Didn't you see Devo's profile picture that's like half blacked out and
Oh, you're right.
whatever.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, I did see that. Yes.
that might
They're
be AI
all
as
probably.
well.
I can't believe anyone's photos anymore. I can barely believe videos. Everything is fake.
Yeah,
It's insane.
it is. It is. And that's what we learned about Devo is just that everything that he said here is fake. Everything he did here is fake. I mean,
Hmm.
just her poor Brittany and poor parents. I hope that they realize that they have dodged the biggest atomic bomb,
Yeah,
Ninja Turtle Cabbage Patch atomic bomb that they've ever encountered in their life, and that they can just move forward and help her move forward from this and give her a little self-esteem. I mean, it's just I get that TV makes things look a little bit worse than they are, but it looked like she was willing to accept bare minimum just to get herself married.
it did.
So I hope that
It
she
was bad.
has some more self-love. And I'm very happy that Amber is the one that ended up telling her about all this other stuff. I mean, I'm glad that Amber is actually a girl's girl and not one of these fake girls like Ashley and Bree and all that.
Hmm.
I'm glad
It
that
was
she
nice to
actually was
have
like,
Amber on the podcast that Brittany was on. They obviously interviewed
mhm,
both of them, but they were on at the same time. So Amber even could kind of call out some of Brittany's delulu-ness and justification, like even in the moment of like, I don't know, he still seems like a bad guy. Like, it was good. She needs like a little Amber on her shoulder once in a while. I think she still
yeah,
is really idealistic about people,
right.
which is cute.
Yeah. Which can get you in trouble, girl. It can get you in a
Mhm.
lot of trouble. You can end up with an Alex at your house. She would have tried to marry that man in a heartbeat. I don't think he would have married her because I don't think Alex was trying to get married on that show. I don't think Devo was trying to get married on that. I think most of these people were not actually trying to get married
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
signed up for this show, as usual. But
I
yeah,
even I mean, should we move on to Jordan and
yeah,
go
we'll
ahead?
move on to the. You want to end on Emma then and Mike, or do
Oh,
you
well,
forget about
okay.
them entirely, like the rest of everybody?
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean
this,
this feels like a good place to be talking about right now anyway. So,
yeah. So they actually talked about them way earlier in the actual episode. But yeah, we learned that they only were married for 4 months and now they're probably going through a divorce process. He moved out and they had a couple of hiccups. They had a few bad weddings. She got drunk at some weddings and they had some arguments. He's been wanting to stay at his house and not move in with her. They didn't really decide on actually moving to a halfway point. I mean, they just didn't really I think that they didn't really let their relationship play out as long as they could have. I mean, they could have, like she said, went to counseling. I don't know if she just was saying it and then didn't actually make appointments or what the deal was
she
there,
said that
but
she
4
was
months.
willing on the Vile Files too. She brought that up again as well. But it just seemed like it was really his lack of desire to live with her or where she lived that you can do all the counseling in the world, but she wanted to live with her husband and he wanted to live by the bars. I just don't think they should have gotten married.
Yeah, they should not have. It was like a whim thing. And I think like Mike and Emma, they probably talked about just not getting married right now, especially for the sake of the child involved. And I'm a broken record when it comes to this, but we should not be letting single parents get married on this show, especially, if it'd be one thing if these people were older and we're talking about like
Mhm.
50-year-olds Love is Blind, but we're talking
Right,
about like 30-year-olds Love is Blind, where like their oldest child might be like 15, which
right.
that's the case, sure. But I just think when
It's
there's
just
minors in the home, it's just such a risk.
the
Like,
thing about Love is Blind is that when it all goes well, it ends in marriage. And marriage is a serious and real thing. It's not part of a reality show. It's not fake. It is a lifelong commitment forever. And if you choose not to do it, then there's consequences to that as well. Like if you're married and you choose to be unmarried, you have to go through a divorce. You have to do all this stuff. And even Amber was saying on the Vile Files, they're allowed to get an annulment because of the amount of time that it was, but they still have to put in all their financial records. She still has to put in all of her investments that she has, and they don't have a prenup. And so apparently Jordan has been reassuring to her verbally, that's not what he's after. But I mean, you put the stuff through a divorce system and you kind of get information back. Like, you can sit with a mediator and say, like, I don't want this involved. I don't want this involved. But when you just put it all in there, I mean, he could be walking away with spousal support. Who knows? Like, and this woman has a damn child. Like, it's just,
Right.
it's crazy. So, like, there is a huge risk of just even saying yes. I think, according to Amber, behind the scenes, she told Jordan that she was a yes, that he was a great guy, that she wanted to move forward, and she wanted to get married to him, so that it was going to be up to him if he was ready to make that commitment or not. And she assumed, just like her brother assumed and everyone else assumed, that he was going to go in there and say no. And so him saying yes was a big surprise to her. And they just really, it seems like, just could not like figure it out and get their plans together. I think she thought, he's going to say no, we're going to walk away and whatever. So why do we need to move? Why do we need to join all this stuff together, really? But they did get married, and I think it was a surprise to everybody.
Yeah, but I think it was silly of her to just go in and be like, it's a yes.
Exactly. I mean,
you're kind of breaking.
This is my thing. I think, and I know you agree, she shouldn't have been on the show in the first place. So ipso facto, she shouldn't have ever said yes to anybody, right? But in Amber's brain, I mean, she did go on a show to get married, being a mom with her child, and she did find a guy that I think she thought at least was good enough to try to make a relationship with. So I can see why in her head she said that. I disagree with it still. I don't think she should have been anywhere near Love is Blind, but she was, and she at least didn't find a Chris or an Alex or whatever. I mean, Jordan is not the greatest. Apparently this man, during that wedding, that he tried to call her out on and all of that, apparently he was drunk before she was drunk. And then he put her in a vehicle at 11 o'clock at night after she was passed out and went back inside the wedding to party. Now, I understand that you are the best man, but I'm pretty sure at 11 o'clock at night at the end of the wedding, there's probably not much else for you to do. But
no, usually the weddings end at the events at 11:30, 12 at the latest. So.
Right. And like, there are very few weddings where, the wedding party themselves have to sit and clean up after the fact. I mean, you are not much needed after your homeboy got married and you did your speech. Would it be nice for you to stay the whole time? Yes. But if your wife is drunk in the car and incapacitated, I think everyone would understand if you went and took care of her. But no, instead, he popped her in the car, took her keys away from her, and left her in there while he continued to party. This is not
a man. Smart to take her keys away. I mean, we shouldn't be having drunk drivers, but
But she said she was never intent on driving. She said she takes Ubers all the time. It was not something that she planned to do. So, I mean, and again, like, it's her story against her, but I just, like, we don't even leave our dogs in a vehicle unattended, especially at night. You're going to leave your wife alone at night in a parking lot, in a car, passed out drunk, while you continue to party. Then you've been partying since who knows. It's just like, it's time to go. But it does not display to me someone who was actually ready to get married. And again, I think you're absolutely right that she should not have said yes to him, but he also should not have said yes to her. This whole thing was like a debacle.
Well, despite the kid thing, I mean, the moving thing was always a situation with them. And until that was figured out, I think it should have been a no regardless. They didn't really, they weren't on the same page about everything. And I don't know, maybe that was just lack of us seeing like their whole story. But I just didn't think that this should have been a yes, not only because of the kid situation, which is a hill I will die on, but
that's a fair hill to die on, Miss Ann.
Yeah, I mean, and then at this reunion, she brings up her child. Like, she made a goodbye box for you, and the weird like walk off, like it wasn't a giving what she wanted it to give. The waddle off, yeah, because it was just she could not really get
waddle enough. And she waddled away.
Yeah, it was like very, I don't know if it was weirdly edited or she just weirdly did it, but it started off, good enough. Like, yeah, she made this box for you, and I told you, and you shouldn't have done this to her, to me, and I told you, and she runs off, and I'm like, was that a whole thought? Am I missing something? Like, did they edit a part out? Because all of a sudden she went from just at first calmly explaining what happened to getting upset to I'm just gonna run off. And
Yeah.
I was confused
It was
on that. It
abrupt.
wasn't
Yeah.
giving the runoff that it should have.
Yeah, it's not like she had like this grand statement and, dropped the mic, right? She was actually almost mid-sentence and got up and just walked away like, "This
Yeah,
is why I
that's what I'm
told you
getting
not
at.
to get
Yeah.
in my life." It's just like, I
Right.
mean, I think, I don't know. To me, that shows
And
somebody
then they all,
who
like, laughed at her. Like, didn't they not,
they
like,
did.
all, like, laugh at her, walk running off? Like, especially
I think
Jordan. I
it
mean,
looked a little rehearsed, and I'm not saying it was. I think it was a genuine reaction to her, but I can see why everyone kind of had like a nervous laugh and like kind of a weird laugh because it was almost like so dramatic and so. But she's kind of like that. I think she doesn't have a lot of control over her anger. I mean, Jordan said that on the reunion that she's got some issue
she
around that.
admitted it too. She
Yeah.
admitted it herself, that she's could
The
work on
runoff
that.
edit was really weird, but she weaponized her child at the reunion. It was her responsibility to protect her daughter. Yes, and it is not Jordan's responsibility to explain to her child what went on either and like why he's leaving. I can appreciate that like her daughter was sad, but it's your
Mhm.
job because you brought this man into her life to protect her and to fix her emotions, to come in there and say like, I was crying and then my daughter was crying so I had to be strong. I'm sorry, that's part of being a parent. That has nothing to do with Jordan. Just because something happened in your daughter's life that made you sad and her sad at the same time, so you had to be a mom and console your daughter, that's got nothing to do with Jordan. Not a damn thing. That's not his responsibility. She has a whole father and a whole mother. That's her support system, not Jordan. Whenever anything happens in her world,
Right.
it is Amber and her father's responsibility to pick her back up and make her feel whole again, not Jordan's. Jordan
Right.
is leaving.
Right. And I do think maybe Jordan could have said some, not, I guess, a goodbye, but like I'm sorry this isn't really working out, but
In a
I
perfect
do
world,
appreciate our
sure.
bond or something, sure. But it's not his responsibility to sit down and explain what happened in the relationship. I mean, he could have been like, "You're an awesome kid, and like I'm happy for the memories that we do have, and
Yep.
I hope the
Maybe
best," or
leave her a
whatever.
note or something, and
Sure.
I think in a perfect world, there definitely could have been more done to address her daughter, and I think a lot of people were downplaying too, like, I saw some comments on YouTube videos and stuff of, like, why should Jordan have to say anything to her daughter? It's not like he knew her for more than 5 minutes or blah, 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 but, like, they were married for 4 months. I know they didn't live together and all of that, but, I mean, he was definitely had to have been around. So, I think he
Yeah.
did like, it was right of Amber to say, "This also hurt my child," but it was not okay for her to act like it was then his responsibility or like he did something wrong to hurt her. It was going to naturally hurt any
Mhm.
child when someone comes in their life and then exits their life. Doesn't matter if it's a friend, a stepdaddy, a uncle, a nanny, whatever. When someone comes in your
Mhm.
life and leaves, there's pain there. It is your
Right.
responsibility as a parent to soothe that, especially when you're the one who brought them into her life.
Right.
Point
Yeah,
blank, period. You cannot
and
make him feel bad for
mhm.
that about that.
You signed up for the show, she did not, and that's I mean, the thing with Jordan as well is I get he could have done a couple of those things or a version of those things, but he also does not have a child to know that that
Right,
might be what he needs to do. I mean,
right.
the difference between people with children and without children and like the way that they think about how children should be like treated and everything is like vastly different. I mean, there are
Mhm.
things that maybe a child needs that a normal person that doesn't have a child wouldn't think about at
Right,
all, especially a man, especially
right.
a man. So, I mean, I don't know. I do think that that single parent shouldn't really be getting married on Love is Blind. I think they should just leave that off of here. I think it's too messy. The risks are too high, not only financially and for the marriage and everything and for whatever resources are poured into that child, the geographic location of that child being changed and leaving friends or whatever, but also the literal actual risk of what if this person is a Looney Tune and hurts my child in any way? Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
never
Amber was
know.
lucky that she ended up with someone like Jordan, who does seem to, like, at least at his core, be a genuinely, like, authentic guy. Not always a great guy, definitely not well suited for her and what she needs right now, but I don't think he came there with bad intentions, and I don't think, even with things going bad the way that they have, that he is intent on screwing her over. I think she may get screwed over because they didn't have no prenup. They didn't talk about none of these actual important logistic stuff before they signed papers to get legally married. But that's not Jordan's fault. They both agreed to be stupid at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So we wish them well.
We wish them well. Apparently, their divorce is still very much in the process. Amber has not yet even given her paperwork back with all of her information. Jordan has completed it, but we are waiting on Amber. She allegedly said she would get it done the week after the reunion.
See, I think she was also hoping to go into this reunion and maybe see if he would give it another go. But yeah, deep down. But yeah, I mean, it's like, like I've always thought, you can get married in an instant and it takes much longer to divorce. So you better be pretty firm in that decision.
Yeah, they're already been divorced longer than they've been married. Or I'm sorry, they've already been separated longer than they've been married. So
100%.
If Amber was completely open and healed, I think this marriage could have worked. Sure. I also can't get past. I think that Jordan is a little bit of bullshit when he says that he was ready to get married, but he also wants to enjoy the bar scene.
Yeah.
I don't, not saying that can't happen, but you have to find a partner who is also wanting to do those kinds of things. And Amber was not that and could never be that because she's a mom. So I think.
Right. Like he was not willing to move away from the city, even though it was only like a 20-30 minute drive to.
I think it's like 45 minutes to an hour. But even still, if we're talking about going to the bars on the weekends and concerts once in a while.
It sounded like the weekdays. Like she was talking about a Tuesday.
Yes. And that's why I'm saying I think totally that comment is facts, that she was not healed and that totally played a role. But I don't think he was ready to marry anyone, let alone her, as the only cast member that we know of this season that had a whole child at home.
Right. And he went in with the stipulation of, I don't want to be with someone with a child, probably because the way he lives his life, he wants to be able to have more freedom.
By the bars. I mean, that was his thing on wedding day. He was all, well, I want to live by where the concerts are and the blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, okay, then you need to find someone who's not family oriented right now, who's not in a hurry to have a kid, doesn't have kids, and also wants to party for the next 3 years. Otherwise, you're not ready to get married either. She did agree to move to her brother's town. She absolutely did. And yet this man would not move away from the bar.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it was that didn't get them to move in together at that time, but it seems like she was ready and willing and insistent that they moved in. He was insistent that they go attend weddings together as a married couple, and she was insistent that they live together. And when you is different pages.
And when you're stuck in that party phase, like not even just like, oh, every now and then, like we can go out and do things or whatever. Like, but when you're stuck in that party phase of, I want to go drink on a Tuesday downstairs just because like it's there. It's hard to be in a relationship that progresses forward. I mean, we got a friend that's boyfriend does the same, like lives on the bar, does the same thing, doesn't want to change anything about his life. And now they're, almost a decade into a relationship that's failing because he's not done anything to progress their relationship, because he's been this bar rat for the last X amount of years, and
at some point, I mean, you do have to evolve, right? And like, yes, it is boring. And actually Amber talks a little bit about this on the podcast too, of like, it is boring sometimes to be at home, but you also have to find a way. She talks about how she used to also be in and out of the bars a lot, even, like before she had her kid and stuff like that. And that what
Mhm.
she noticed was you go to the bar and you have, you get drunk and you have all these people around and they make you laugh and your dopamine levels shoot up. And then you come home and you're hungover and you're tired and nobody's around. And so they drop and you feel this depression. And so you go back out and it's like this constant up and down, up and down. And at some point you have to find a better routine of wellness, especially as an adult. I mean, getting into your 30s, 40s, 50s, you have to take better care of your body. You have to walk and eat healthy and like get sunlight and take care of yourself. You can't just, get trashed every weekend and expect to feel good and have good mental
Yeah.
health. So I think she had a lot to say about that as well, of just them being on drastically different pages of what they do on a day-to-day basis and how they approach life. And the fact that this wasn't discussed before they decided to sign literal wedding papers, ugh,
Beyond me.
for
Yeah, I
both of
mean,
them.
as a 33-year-old now myself, like if I going to the bars is like maybe like a once in a year thing for me just because it's not fun for me anymore like it was in my 20s. Like you
Well,
go out
and
and you
when I
see
do
everybody
go
that's
out
like
and I have
10 years
fun,
younger than you. Yeah,
yes,
everyone's 10 years younger than you. There's nobody like, you even see like you don't even see the people you used to see anymore. Everybody's kind of settled down around you. So
mhm,
like I don't know, it's funner for me to stay at home and like watch
yeah.
a show with
But,
my
like, I
husband, but
don't
not everybody's
mind
the same.
going
So
to, like, a concert, like, maybe not necessarily the bar,
sure.
like, I don't love, like, the bar scene myself much either, but, like, going to a concert or going to a show
Mhm.
or, like, kind of being downtown or things like, that is fun, but when I do that in my 30s, I need a couple days to recover now too, like, I can't just go back out to the bar again the next day or even the day
Right,
after
unless
that.
I'm on some vacation. If I'm, like, on a vacation, like, somewhere where we're hopping around doing a bunch of different things,
Yeah,
like,
and I can
sure, but
take
then
a
when I
nap
get
in the middle of
home.
the day, sure, all of that is
Yeah,
fine, but if I need to, like, feed my own self, make my own food, bathe my own self, show up, places, then, yeah, I can't go to the bar multiple days in a row or concerts multiple days. I need to break it up. Maybe I'm just old, but I do think at some point, like, we have to evolve our lives into something that's more healthy than just, like, go, 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 burning the candle at both ends. I think that's great for your early adulthood, even in your early 30s sometimes. But at some point, like you have to start to figure out a
something like
different
that
way.
starts to get boring as well. I mean, you can only do the
Sure.
same thing so many times without
Well,
getting
that's why
bored,
all these
so
like people like Jordan who won't let go of the bar life still have it in their head somehow that they want to get married and need to get a wife, but they can't figure out how do I get a wife but also still keep this lifestyle? Well, you can't. You just
can't.
can't.
You just can't do it.
You
So
can't do
anyways,
it.
I guess we'll move on now to the last couple, who everybody forgets about, but
Yeah,
we didn't forget about. Speaking of kids and all that,
true.
Emma and Mike.
Mhm.
They talked mainly. I mean, their section was so short. It was mainly about if they went in with the idea of saying no, which like the Lachey's seemed pretty annoyed that they had already made a decision amongst themselves openly and are letting us know, even though I think most of them do
Everybody
that.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
because
don't think
they
it's
made
fair
us
for them
little.
to call them out about that. I mean, even Amber and Jordan made a plan with each other. Just they went against the plan and I mean
Because
so
they
did
said,
Emma.
yeah, yep.
Right. So
And
it's like
that's what the Lachey said. They're like, you think you're gonna make this decision, but then when you get there, like that's why we don't encourage making a decision before getting there because we want the emotions or whatever. I'm like, so you want these people to make on the fly decision is what you're literally letting us know. Like we want you to make a irrational decision instead of
yes,
thinking it
we
out and
want you
talking it
to
over
like
with each
just
other.
wing it on the spot and that makes for the best television. Well, I think they kind of disproved their point in the same breath because we had two people this season say that they walked up the altar with one idea in mind and said something completely different out of their mouth in the moment. So, that logic doesn't actually fit of oh, well, we don't want you to make a rational, thought out decision. We want you to make the decision in the moment because apparently these people just lose their minds once they're up there, anyways.
Yep. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter. Like, I guess they were both going to say no because of the kid thing. He's like, it was such a hill to die on, and it was going to take longer than a few days for her to change her mind. I fell on it. I didn't think it would be genuine if she were to just say whatever. But I told her if she does say yes, basically, like I did know that meant that she was fine with kids. So that kind of confused me a little bit because then when she did say yes about the kid thing, he's like, well, but I still wasn't sure. And I get that her saying yes in the moment didn't mean yes forever. She could just be saying yes right now, and she could change her mind in a few weeks, a few months, maybe even after having a child or whatever. That's why
I think that was
they
poor communication on their part. She should have said, if I say yes to you at the altar, I'm saying yes to everything. I'm saying yes to everything that we've talked about and everything that we want. And I've made that decision. Because what a missed opportunity, especially to hear a year later, if that was true. Like, I was saying I was ready to have a family with you when I said yes, and he didn't catch that
he did
message.
know that. He did know that. He said he knew that.
He didn't really believe that. Like, he wasn't sure about it. And I mean, maybe he knew that that's what she meant and he just didn't know. But like, he acted as if that's not what she meant. And I think she was saying that that is what she meant.
Well, I think he also had the feeling of like, this isn't my forever either. Like, even if she wants kids, do I want kids with her? Do I want to move forward with her? Like, yeah, she might be a fun person for me to date, but am I in love with her? I really think that that's really, really boiled down to, because had the opposite been how it was, they would have kept dating just like Bree and Connor, and they did not keep dating. It sounds like they didn't really keep dating and that they went their separate ways. And she seemed completely shocked to see that he had a girlfriend and brought her there. Like, she looked sad.
I know.
And
I felt bad.
That made me sad. So
yeah, I think she thought that they were going to continue to date. I mean, she said, yes, she was ready to marry him, So I think that this was a hard thing for her to really swallow, especially. I think it was harder for her to hear that he had a girlfriend than it was for Brittany to hear that Devo had a whole kid on the way. But nothing tops Brittany's dad's reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was hard for all of them. He did. I think it was hard for all of them to get that news, but I mean, she went into therapy right after Emma did, and Mike went on dating apps right after and brought himself a girlfriend to the reunion. And I don't know, I just felt bad for Emma in that situation. Like, you finally conformed to what this guy wanted. You told me you wanted kids, even though you might, not be so sure deep down. I don't know. Maybe she was never sure in her decision to not have kids. Maybe she was always just saying it and not really sure what she felt deep down. I mean, that's what I assume she was at anyways, is that she just wasn't sure in that decision regardless. Because the thing is if she was so hell-bent on not having kids, like the woman next to her,
right,
Jessica.
Yep.
Because Jessica was very sure in that as well. And she did not end up with somebody out of the pods that wasn't okay with the not having kids. So
yeah, I think you're right in that sense. Definitely.
Yeah, I just don't think they should have even made it out of the pods if the kids was going to be the deal breaker. I mean, he made his whole personality, I want kids.
He did, yeah. Which is fine, but yeah, he should have served himself better in his picking when he was picking these women for him.
I think they all wanted to get to Mexico at least. So kudos to them. Did he not look a little bit let down by Devo having a kid? Like, I think he also looked a little sad about it. Yes.
I think everybody was sad.
Like, wow, I think everybody was sad
before me. They are sitting there 1 year post filming, and this man has a child on the way, and he was just, engaged to another woman. He's obviously had this girlfriend that's been real loud, but apparently he's had other relationships too, because this girlfriend's not the pregnant one. I mean, it's disappointing, I think, to hear someone who clearly portrayed himself as a certain way on this show to everybody come in and be like, yeah, I just got, this girl pregnant and now we're going to get married. It is disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised because I think not being on the show, we're able to form a different opinion, outside of the bubble that they all lived in together when they were filming. So I don't think we had this idealistic version of Devo ever, but I think that they did. I think that he really talked up a big game to all of them. And now he's out in the real world and everybody knows exactly who he is. He did look sad. I think everybody was sad. Except us, like the viewers. I think that everyone on the cast was sad. That's like the final validation that he really is a bad guy.
I don't think Alex gave a flying F, and neither did Chris, but I think maybe everybody else was a
They
little
don't
bit
care
sad
about
for the
anything that
situation.
doesn't have to do with them, though. They're not even really human.
They're barely here as a, you're right. So yeah, I mean, they didn't really spend long on Mike and Emma, and I guess neither will we, because there wasn't much else to say about them. We only ever saw them feed giraffes and talk about having kids. So, you know, to each their own. Netflix did try to pull one on us about having a musical guest, which I'm so sick of them doing that. Like, it's either basketball or musical guests with them.
I'm so glad they put it at the end, though. It was, if you're going to give me a musical guest, give it to me at the very end so I can be done with it. So thank you for that, at least.
I can just turn it off. Yeah. Yep. Because I was like, well, maybe they'll do something small to that. But then I looked at how much time was left. I'm like, it's just going to be a goodbye. So I pretty much turned most of it off. The only thing that happened was they moved Vic and Christine to the tables right at the end. I'm like, what was the point of this? And not everybody at these tables are married. So why are you moving these people over?
Well, I think they had a married section and then like a single section. They were moving them over there. So strange.
Alexa must have felt the sting on that one. This is the first reunion she's come back to. She's been, you know, in the single section.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. And what's her name? The ballerina girl who had the abusive husband.
Oh, Colleen, but she wasn't really coming to many reunions before. But yeah, I mean, you know, bless her heart. I think she could have chimed in on the whole living together thing, maybe. But
right. And Blue says, how did we feel about the gender reveal? It seemed like a private moment that should have stayed within their family. Sure. I thought that it was cool to see. I mean, a lot of people are pretty public about their gender reveals, and I think Bliss and Zach have been particularly open about a lot of things. They've had such a unique Love is Blind journey. So, I mean, I could have done without it, definitely. I did not need to know what they were doing, especially I think you're probably referring more to like the private moment too, with like the grandma and stuff, sharing that with them. I was thinking as I was watching it, like, what a weird moment for Zach to have something so personal on TV as his grandma who passed away and seeing her talk, like, and then also sharing such big news. So I don't know. I mean, I could have just had them like been as good off as them saying, you know, we're having a boy, and left it at that. And he could have had that kind of private moment with his family, with the video, with his grandma. I think that that's fair.
Yeah. I kind of thought it was a little, I mean,
to know that
for
she
it to
was
be on
like
TV, I guess,
borderline dying,
but to know that she was dead, like, or whatever, like, I'm like, wow, this lady
and in the video she knew she was going to pass away. That's why she took the video, you know, kind of like in case of death, play this video kind of thing. So yeah, I could definitely see your perspective, and Blue, especially with the video, not so much the gender reveal. I think that that's something, like I said, people are usually pretty public about, but yeah, the way that it was done was very personal.
Yeah, and I know they don't show their other kid at all, you know, so I felt like it was
Galileo.
Yeah, I felt like it was kind of an odd move to want to be so public with the thing. But you know, Netflix probably also maybe paid them a little bit for that. I really don't know. I do think it's like a weird, like, it's almost weirder for it to be such a fast little snippet. Like, yeah, here's your little gender reveal. We'll throw it in here just at random. You know, like, it almost doesn't feel special, even though, yes, it's on TV. It just is like in the middle of someone else's reunion. I think it would have been more special for them to have like a more private moment.
Sure.
Because yeah, we've seen them crying and stuff, but Bliss was crying the whole time. I don't know if that was just, you know, some pregnancy hormones mixed in with whatever, but she don't know these people, and she was crying at like almost everything that was coming out. So
Yeah, that's true.
and then Zach's just sitting there like, I don't know. Excuse my lighting because it's horrific, but
and Zach looked so shocked to be having a boy too. I mean, he was like, his face was like stone faced after he found out. Like he looked like he was in literal shock.
There was some shock. I mean, when we found out we were having a boy, well, when Dean found out, I should say, because I found out differently. We were like doing the little, the things that they burst out or whatever.
Right. Like the colored.
What are those called? The colored stuff, but it wasn't the smoke. It was like confetti. Like confetti. Yeah. We both had like a confetti stick, and mine went off and his didn't. So he's sitting there trying to figure out his stick, and everyone's like, "It's a boy, it's a boy," and he's just like trying to fix his stick, and I'm like, Dean, are you not comprehending? Like,
right?
Like, oh yeah, blah blah, but my stick didn't go off. But I'm like, for God's sakes, man! Like, so sometimes it just takes a while to register for men,
Yeah, men are interesting creatures.
Yes, they are. But anyway.
So, well, all right. I think that about covers it here for season 10 of Love is Blind. I'm glad that we could cover this. I know sometimes we go back and forth about covering this because it just drops in such big drops, but I'm glad we could cover it. It was actually a pretty good season. I was actually okay with this reunion too. I think there's always room for improvement, especially with the Lachey's. But I think this was one of the better ones that we've seen in a while.
The standards are low, Miss Brooke, because I'm still like, there's so many questions that could have been answered or been asked at least, bare minimum. I mean, these people are nobodies that sign up for a TV show. Why are we being so considerate, not asking these hard questions? I don't get it. Especially, Nick Lachey, who, he took this whole season personal. So
he did. He everything was very personal. Even the bro code was personal here.
Yeah, Ohio bro code. Like, is there not bro code throughout all states or something? Like,
I thought in Ohio, just like everything else.
I guess Ohio is just a different breed. I don't know. I don't know. Nick Lachey knows, and he was happy about it. He didn't even need his wife next to him this whole time. He's like, "This is Ohio. I got it." Like,
so true. Well, we are also covering on the ChickChat channel here. We are covering Unexpected from TLC, so watch out. We will we'll be talking about that for the next couple of weeks, and maybe doing some stories soon. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we're waiting to see, like, when Jersey Shore comes back in May, we'll probably be covering that. And I mean, I know Netflix dropped that like Age of something, and that show's pretty good, but it's just too far in for us to cover. So,
yes, yeah, I think that one's just gonna be between me and Anne on the cell phone. But who knows? I mean, maybe on the last episode we might hop in and do a live and just have like maybe a reaction or something. That's a possibility. So if you are hearing this and you want to maybe just have a live at the end of everything where we can just kind of chat sort of like this, that might be an option. Maybe after a reunion or something.
Yeah.
You don't have to get into everything.
I've also been asked about Teen Mom. I don't know if that show's coming back, and maybe one day we'll kind of hop on and talk about all the goings on of the internet with Teen Mom, because I mean,
there's a lot of that.
There's a lot going on right now with that. Not much from the actual cast members, but from former ones. And, that might be a good little session to just kind of discuss our thoughts on those things. But I don't know. Yeah. Other than that, we're just kind of hanging by the wind. I mean, there's no more Gypsy anymore, it seems. We're waiting on other seasons of other things. Love is Blind is going to be a few months, probably not till September. So
yes, so I'm glad. I think it was one of you that suggested that we cover Unexpected that have been commenting here today. So thank you for that suggestion. We definitely will be following the rest of that season. We also just covered Suddenly Amish, which I think is a show that a lot of people are still sort of catching up with and watching. So be sure to check those videos out. And yeah, we'll be around. So do not leave us. Do not unsubscribe. You stay right here. there, and we'll be back at least next season if you don't follow any of those other TLC shows and all that. I didn't know y'all did Unexpected. So we just started Unexpected. We started only with the 4th episode. So don't drive yourself crazy looking for episodes 1 through 3. But we will be covering Unexpected. That is the show that we are going to be covering for now. So yeah, keep your eye out. Usually, if you're here often, usually, we kind of go live on Fridays, but sometimes things come up and we're on Saturdays or Sundays. So make sure that you have your notification bells on. Bing, bang.
Yep.
But yes, we are covering Unexpected, and it's a pretty fun season so far. So
it's like giving old 16 and pregnant for me. It's just like watching it though through the eyes of a 30-year-old is just much different from when I was there. So
it is, yeah. It's different when we could be their parents.
Now, I wish Love is Blind. I know they're doing this Age of Attraction thing, but I do wish Love is Blind would do like a season of like 50-year-olds. I think that would be just like amazing to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. So, all right, you guys. Well, thanks for joining us for another exciting season of Love is Blind. Maybe next season we'll be in Detroit, which is Michigan, where Anne and I live.
And we'll do our MICHIG.
We will not do that. No. We'll have to find some kind of chant, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's an Eminem song or two that has Detroit we can mention. So
yeah, we probably could do
Welcome to Detroit City.
Yeah, there we go. My gangsters and all
Yeah, if it is Detroit, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the season that no one gets married and there's a lot of,
a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Yep. We do it a little different down here in the D. That's what people tend to say when they visit us.
Yeah. I wonder though if it is in Detroit, if they actually got like a bunch of people from Detroit, or if it's kind of like statewide-ish, like you got some
like
people
Ohio
who are a little bit
Ohio.
Right, like is this season gonna just be Detroit or is it gonna be Michigan?
Right, because I mean, if they were smart, they'd probably grab some people from Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, Lansing, Ann Arbor, kind of the general areas. But yeah, I guess to be determined. I'm excited. I hope that that's what it is. Gosh, if not, I mean, they must have just scrapped the whole season because they were casting in like 2024. So
yeah, I remember that casting call going out to everybody, all of us. I even though I'm so anti, like, don't put your kids, through this, I was sending it to my sister, like, you should sign up for this. This would be funny. Like,
right. I mean, it would be funny.
She's got three kids. But yeah, I mean, they hit on my city way too late. I could have been on the show like, when they first did the show, maybe like back in 2019, but they hit me too late with it. Would have been perfect. We could have had a better podcast, Miss Brooke. We could have, but it would have been a real stepping stone for us.
I know. We could be like Deep Tea and what's her name on their podcast.
Oh goodness.
I don't even know what that's called anymore. But another life. The life you have lived now is wonderful to you. You would have never met Dean and never had Dean.
You're right. I wouldn't be surrounded with all these Deans.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you all for watching. We are going to go now. It is a Saturday, so we're doing overtime right now.
Yes. So I'm going to get chimichangas and margaritas. So you all have a great Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Take care.
Yep, and I'm going to go change a diaper. So have fun and reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and goodbye.
Bye.